Let's look at some strategies for mental subtraction. We'll be using the problem 93 minus 67. Here's the first one. We'll call it counting up, or sometimes you hear it called adding up. For this strategy, we're going to start with the number that's being subtracted, that's 67, and we're actually going to add until we get up to the number that we're subtracting from. So I'm going to start at 67. I'm going to aim for numbers that are pretty easy to hit. So maybe the next one I'm going to hit is 70. That's a nice round number that ends in 0. I just added 3 to get there. To go from 70 to 90, that's pretty painless too. I just added 20, or you might hear a kid do 10 at a time, 70, 80, 90. And then to get to 93, I have to add 3 more, and then I'll just add everything I added. 3 plus 20 plus 3 is 26. So 93 minus 67 is 26. The next strategy that we'll look at is compensation. We looked at compensation with addition too. The idea is that we're going to make numbers that are easier to add, or in this case, it's easier to subtract. 93 minus 67. Well, I don't necessarily find it easy to subtract 67 from 93, but it would be pretty easy to subtract 70 from 93 with a nice 0 at the end. In order to be subtracting 70 instead of 67, I had to add 3 to 67. I have to compensate for that by adding 3 also to my original number. So 93 plus 3 is 96. By adding 3 to both sides, I'm keeping these two numbers the same distance apart. 96 and 70 are the same distance apart as 93 and 67. This is really similar to the idea behind the New Zealand algorithm for subtraction. And what I've done here is created a nice problem that's somewhat painless, because I can do 6 minus 0, and I can do 9 minus 7 and get 26. One more, and that's the idea of breaking apart. The number that we're going to break apart is the second one, the one that we are subtracting. Instead of doing 93 minus 67 all at once, I'm going to do 93 and just subtract the 7 part first. That's single digit subtraction. I can handle that. Pull out your fingers if you have to. 93 minus 7 is 86. And now I'm going to subtract 86 minus the tens part minus the 60. And that's pretty painless because of the 0 there. And I get 26.